Hey guys, Legendary Grimlock here, and sorry these survival videos have taken so long, but this one was actually going to be a lot longer, and I kind of had to process it and everything. So today we're going to see if Total Drama can survive Godzilla 1998. So obviously the rules are pretty simple here. We'll be using the voting mechanic that they normally use here in Total Drama, since you little monsters wanted that anyway. And this is actually going to be different here because we're putting them in the events of 1998, except a little bit differently here. No Adultzilla. All right, we're not putting them against the adult version of the creature because that's just simply overkill, and I don't think they really need that here. I mean, imagine hiding in a building and the building can just be collapsed on you, killing everybody there, right? So yeah, none of that stuff is going to happen here. Instead, we're going to put it on the first island of Dead Island here, which is Benoi, and we're going to put them being chased by Babyzillas. Yeah, keep in mind that Babyzillas are able to break down steel doors like they're nothing. They're able to work in packs, and they are able to eat both fish and human alike. Yeah, so they're not too picky. If I had to really say what they represent, they're kind of like Spinosaurs or Spinosaurids in a way, where they can eat fish. Yes, they prefer, fish and stuff like that. But again, they'll eat regular meat just like anybody else here. So yeah, Total Draw was pretty screwed here. Now again, if we're using the World Tour group, we're not going to be using Blaney, as she joins way later in the season, and she's not really a very interesting character to dive into. Yeah, she a baddie, but yeah, she not too interesting to, I guess you could say, character-wise to dive into. So again, using the World Tour group, voting mechanic, Godzilla 1998, and we'll be starting off differently here. So usually I do start off from the hotel, but this time I wanted to do something vastly different. I wanted a different change here, and we're going to actually start them off from the cabin. The Zillas aren't active just yet until they actually leave the cabin and start the first part of it, which I think is kind of obvious, the running. Now, who's the team leader in this one is actually a bit different here, because using their updated personalities and stuff here, there isn't, or at least using the we're using the personalities that they had in, Total Drama World Tour here, and using the relationships in that one as well, minus Duncan and Gwen here, because it just causes way too much things I would have to cover here. So yeah, we're just going to keep it pretty simple here and say that Duncan and Courtney are together, but they still have that little bit of turmoil between them here. So the first place I think they would pretty much book it is the lighthouse here. And usually, and always in all of these survival videos, yeah, I do think Owen dies. You see, Owen is probably one of the biggest liabilities to the team rather than an actual benefit. And again, minus the whole Toon Force nonsense, which we really don't use here, as I like to focus on their intelligence, there's really no one that I can really see dying other than Owen when it comes to making his way to a destination. He's less athletic unless food is on the line, and even then, he would eat all the food. So yeah, he's a liability. He's the first one to go and the first one to be a Babyzilla victim. Yeah, they're definitely going to be feeding on them for a while here. So problems in the group would probably arise, and honestly, the only person I kind of see being a problem is Alejandro, to which it's pretty kind of obvious using the World Tour personalities, the World Tour setting and stuff for each character. No one knows who Alejandro is, and while it is noted he doesn't like Chris and can get along with the others, he is a very deceptive person. So I think that would possibly and most definitely come into effect here. Now, when they get into the lighthouse here, they're obviously going to manage, I think, everything here. Keep in mind, the worst part about the lighthouse is where the power sources are. Now, even in a zombie apocalyptic setting, you don't really want your power sources to be far away from, I guess you could say, your base of operations. But again, it is what it is here. They have to turn on 2 transformers at 2 different locations in order for it to work here. So the first transformer, I actually see a team being put together with both Noah, Alejandro, Gwen, Ezekiel, and Sierra going to the first one, and the second one having DJ, Harold, Lashana, Lindsay, and Heather. The reason why these teams were put together is because they do need people to look out for each other and others to help with the Transformers, while Harold and Noah pretty much carry that department here. Now, this is where I actually see Duncan kind of taking that leadership role like in all my other ones. The reason why is because he has probably the most skills to survive a lot of scenarios and is willing to put his differences aside with others a lot earlier than characters like Gwen, Lashana, Heather, so on and so forth here. Now, as for the second one to die, I think it's pretty simple. It's Ezekiel, and I actually see him going out in a pretty honestly a pretty embarrassing way with the second transformer here. That top perch or whatever, or the top half, or the roof area of it. Yeah, I kind of see this happening to him while he's being the lookout here. The reason why is because Ezekiel doesn't seem like he's very aware of anything. And then the second person I kind of see dying here, because again, I think this is a lot more dangerous than a zombie apocalypse or the Morrowind, to be honest here, because it's multiple creatures, so you have to account for multiple deaths here. And honestly, Lindsay is someone that would probably get snatched through a bush in the area she's in. Keep in mind, again, they're going for the first transformer. Now, do I think they do the voting mechanic here? No, because 3 people have already died in such a fast fashion that it just makes no sense to really have the voting here. Now, while at the lifeguard tower, I actually do see Duncan fixing a truck. All right, fixing the truck that's at least there. I would definitely have that here. And the problem would arise where the truck is too small, and I do think the group would be complaining about that. But I also think that, that some of the group members would what's the word I'm looking for? Try to maybe take the truck themselves, but other group members would stop them here. However, this is where I think it would be more suggestive if they stay there for the night rather than rush all over the place here. I do think a lot of panic would happen with this group here because, again, you just had 3 people die, and these creatures are very intelligent and unpredictable. Keep in mind that Baby Zillas actually understand to wait for an opportunity to arise for them and to then exploit it later. Like having the man shoot down the door and then realizing the door was weakened at that point just for them to, bust through. Again, these creatures are incredibly smart and are capable of ambushing you when you least expect it. Now, was Madison Square Garden a perfect hunting ground for them? Yes. Yes, it was here. But the thing is here, while I do see the groups arguing, I do see them also having that, I guess you could say, survival come together moment, or where the situation can get like so desperate for them that they have no choice but to really just hear each other out and try to benefit each other the best they can, because the more they survive, the better they'll do here. And in all honesty, I think it's pretty simple here. And the thing is here, while we do have 3 deaths so far, I do think the group is in pretty good condition. 2 smart guys, heavy hitters, and very good, very interesting people with survival techniques. I mean, Duncan can fix just about any machine, and Bridget, being an animal expert, I think she'll be able to put 2 and 2 together that these are cold-blooded reptiles resembling iguanas, except they're more carnivorous, so it might throw a socket wrench into her mix here. Now, during nighttime, I actually see the lighthouse being broken into. Now, you might say, wait a minute, why would this happen here? Keep in mind, again, these guys are able to bust through metal doors, and I don't think some strong fence would just do here, And the reason why I'm saying that is because they've been able to pretty much break through any point of Madison Square Garden, which is more, I guess you could say, advanced or more secure than a lighthouse here. So I actually see them breaking in, but the group will rush to the top of the lifeguard tower just in time and definitely find some way to lock, or if not, barricade the door, or find some way to hold the door, I guess you could say, shut, while they simply are either on the stair area or pretty much at the very top of the lifeguard tower, just so that nobody tries to get them and stuff like that. And I actually see Heather possibly sending Izzy to go and check it out. The reason why is because, one, Izzy's crazy enough to do it, and she's probably the most capable one here to actually be able to get in, get out before they really realize it. And once I do see the group saying that they're clear and stuff here, I actually see one of them, let's just say Tyler here, being the one to suggest they all just have to wing it and try to fit everyone there on they can. Keep in mind, the World Tour group is a lot smaller now, thanks to the 3 deaths here. And in all honesty, while I do think this is a very, very interesting way of, getting around and stuff here, I actually see the Baby Zillas chasing them right then and there than any point in the, I guess, in this story here. And while I do see like Cody almost falling off and Sierra saving him, I actually see Tyler being the one to die here as they make it to the old marina. The reason why is because someone at the back of the truck is eventually going to get snatched. And in all honesty, Tyler just seems the one to pretty much just bite the dust here. Even though he is athletic and would probably definitely complete the run here, he sucks at sports. And athletically, he sucks. Like, it's kind of funny, to be honest here. And in all honesty, I do see him dying. Now, when they get to the old marina, they'll actually be able to work out a lot of stuff here. And I actually would give them explosive barrels here. Now, the reason why I would give them explosive barrels is because they could actually use this for either diversions or pretty much trying to set a trap for a lot of these creatures here. And I actually see it happening. Now, this is where they would definitely spend the night here and definitely formulate a plan to possibly just leave the explosive barrels there and just probably lure some creatures in to detonate them here. I could definitely see Izzy hardwiring some of the explosives here because she actually has that kind of training somehow. But yeah, I definitely see that here. Now, this is where we get our next death, when the group definitely needs to go back and get some supplies from the lifeguard tower. And I actually see Lashana and Alejandro going. The reason why is because, again, going by the World Tour personalities of these characters here, Alejandro would try to seduce Lashana here, and I definitely think it will work to where she would go with him. They would get the supplies here or get enough supplies. But I do see them getting ambushed by 2 Baby Zillas. And Alejandro using her as kind of a meat shield here. Like literally a meat shield. And he would use it to get away. Now, Alejandro doing this is completely in character, as he pretty much used a lot of the female contestants here to basically get his way through the tournament. Oh, sorry, not the tournament, the challenges here. And unfortunately, it would be Lashana. And I'm actually kind of shocked because usually Lashana does survive a large majority of my what ifs here. She does survive a large majority of my total drama what ifs here. But due to Alejandro, she wouldn't survive. Now, this is where I actually see using the marina area or the old, garage or whatever. They would actually be able to build a boat. And this is where Alejandro will return, telling him that Lashana was caught by the Zillas and stuff. But I don't think anyone would really trust him here, It seemed very adamant that Alejandro would want Lashana or anyone that he can pretty much, make fall for him, go with him. And I actually see Gwen being the one to not trust him a lot earlier than the others here. Because, again, they're in that kind of situation. Now, this is where I would have the voting part take place the very next day. And this is where I would actually see Sierra being the one to sacrifice herself with the explosions and actually doing it to save Cody. I think it's very in character for her to do it because, again, she's very dedicated to Cody here. I really don't see her. Like, this girl would suck poison out of his thumb. Like, it's... it's, I think it's very obvious that she would do it here. So she would definitely get the heroic sacrifice. And this is where a lot of things kind of happen. And I'm probably going to speed through it here. But yeah, they would eventually make it to Moresby. And I don't see anyone dying here with Sierra and then Lashana being their next casualties. It sucks here because, again, Lashana's usually one to survive in a lot of my what ifs here, but it is what it is here. Now, this is where I would actually kind of have a big mistake moment for the group here, And that's when they go to the city of Moresby, and they really don't see too many Zillas here. Keep in mind, it's early in the morning, and they don't know where the Zillas are. However, I do see them exploring the police station to try and get some weapons here. Now, I do think they would be able to get into the police station via the, front door and stuff like that. However, I do see the group possibly saying that there's probably some weapons in the garage, to which I do think that would be the more logical explanation. However, there will probably be some corpses, maybe a little bit of like fish gut intake and stuff. And once they open in the garage, I would actually have like a group of Zillas just simply waiting there. Yeah, they would definitely be booking it and definitely be running right after that. And I definitely think the best place they could hold up is the water station. Now, the reason why the water station pretty much works here is because it really does here. There are multiple angles where they can pretty much cover their sixes and stuff here. And again, let's say they're able to get weapons like rifles, grenades and stuff, but they just overchecked the station without really just, I guess, taking in the environment. I would definitely say this costs Noah his life here, as at this point he is the less athletic of the group here. He's pretty much, I don't see him really dying because he tripped, he's not running fast enough. I actually see him tripping, falling, or someone tripping him on accident, and he winds up just getting eaten here. Now again, like I said, with the water station, they have the perfect base right then and there, and I definitely could see a group possibly going to get the boat and parking it right behind the marina, but making sure to avoid any Zillas at any given point here. So it definitely would take them a while. Now, this is where we have to get to the supermarket and getting to the food here. I definitely can see Alejandro volunteering, and I definitely could see him picking a group of characters like Gwen, Izzy, and Cody. However, due to the trustworthiness of Alejandro and them still being skeptical of him, I could definitely see Duncan sending DJ, which is one of the few people he would actually trust to do this, in order to spy on Alejandro at this point. And I mean, it's pretty simple why. I mean, I don't think anyone would trust him at this point here. And I actually think DJ would do it here. Now, yeah, he was a bit cowardly because they did ruin his character here, but yeah, DJ could still get it done if he wants to. Now, going through the supermarket, I definitely don't think there would be too many Zillas in there. Maybe one or two that they can pretty much pull a Jurassic Park and lock in the freezer for a little bit. But once that one Zilla gets locked up and sends like a distress call or whatever, I could definitely see the Zilla start to flood in, kind of like how they did the top half of the Madison Square Garden or the recording area of it. And I definitely see Alejandro being a snake and locking both Izzy and Cody in a area. Izzy, Cody, and Gwen. And as all three of them try to escape, I actually see DJ being able to save Gwen in time rather than Cody and Izzy. The reason why is because I think by the time he gets there, whatever place they're trying to hide in is eventually overrun, and he's only able to get her out by a sliver. Meaning Gwen probably does have like a bite or a scratch mark on her, but she should be relatively fine. Meaning we're knocking off Cody and Izzy very early here, and it's kind of unfortunate because I didn't think Cody would die. I think Sierra's sacrifice is honestly in vain in sort of a way here, but I guess that's kind of what you get when it comes to those scenarios. Now, when Alejandro returns, again, it would be ahead of DJ and Gwen here, like miles ahead here, and I don't think anyone would trust him, and maybe Heather wouldn't, because again, we are still going off the World Tour personalities, and Heather didn't trust her either. And I actually see DJ and Gwen kind of on their own for a little bit here, and it would be hard. I definitely could see that, but knowing that they have to get to the forest area for the final stretch here would definitely be it would definitely be a good adventure for them. It'd definitely be a good bonding experience for them. And at that point, I could actually see them using Alfred's camp as their final place here. They have a lot more weaponry. There are some explosive barrels there. There are trucks there just in case. And they can easily build a perimeter. I mean, it's one of the more well-secured areas of the island. Like, even the zombies can't even get past it here. But in all honesty, I kind of see it going like this here. With DJ and Gwen pretty much coming in overnight here, they will pretty much make their way towards Duncan and Courtney's area, where they would pretty much tell them of Alejandro's betrayal here, and this is where I can actually see Duncan enacting something and actually making a plan here, actually and possibly breaking down a barrier, if not luring the creatures there via some type of fishy substance, maybe a fish meat or maybe a fish bait or something. But at the end of it all, I do see Alejandro being tied up and being left there to die, with him probably asking how did he know about it, and Duncan would pretty much explain how it goes here. Now, do I think Heather would stick with Alejandro at this point? No, because again, she was very skeptical of him and stuff like that, and I can actually see the group convincing her to maybe not betray them because it is the final moments here. And the sheer fact that yeah, I don't think Heather would actually be doing that in this kind of situation. You see, the reason why this survival video actually takes longer than the other ones is because I do have to account for the fear factor and the sheer fact that even the voting mechanic won't even be used as much in this one as it probably would be for other ones. So in all honesty, yeah, I think because of all these circumstances, a lot of things do change. And this is probably the one what if where a lot of people survive. Even people I didn't expect to survive here, like Heather, Courtney, and heck, even Harold here. Meanwhile, characters that do die, like Lashana, I just didn't expect to die here. But as I was going over it, yeah, it would happen with the World Tour cast and keeping their personalities and stuff from that setting. But that's going to be all today, you guys. This is Legendary Grimlock, and this was definitely my longest survival video to date. Peace.